Let's bring in now our law enforcement guests. We have still with us Sonny Slaughter, and want to welcome into the conversation former special agent and supervisor at the Department of Homeland Security, Dr. Jason Piccolo. Great to have you both on the program today. We got to talk about the firearm that was used here, how the shooting took place. I would imagine you both have to be horrified, you know, at the idea that somebody was shot and killed on a movie set. Dr. Jason, you're just joining us this hour. Let's start with you, please. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've been a firearms instructor for quite some time now. And I've been on movie sets, and I've also been to areas where you do dry fire. Now, there should not have been any live ammunition on that set at all. And you absolutely have to be able to discern between a blank and a live round. So there's a lot going on here. And as an armorer, you have the utmost that you have to be able to check those firearms and make sure that they are safe handling. And, you know, 26 years old, that may seem young, but in the firearms community, I'm sure she's been around firearms for long enough to understand that you must treat every weapon as it's loaded, as if it's anything you point it at can be destroyed. And in this case, a life was lost.
Isn't that the truth? Dr. Jason, that's a little known fact about you. We at Court TV didn't know you were also a firearms instructor. So sharing that with us, you know, we're going to want you to weigh in again and again and again on this as those firearms experts come on in to the courtroom. Sonny Slaughter, I want to pick your brain about that too. You do a lot of consulting work for trials and having a law enforcement background. Would you talk to me, please, about who you think each side might be calling in terms of experts who might be able to kind of help tip the scales for, you know, the state and the defense respectively, please?
So thank you, Julie, for having me again on this with this conversation. I believe that on the state side, they are going to call a firearms expert like my co-expert guest here to really talk about the importance of what you should and should not be doing, to have an expert on the set, to have someone who is trained, and to know the difference between having a live round, a dummy round, and about pointing the guns. As somebody who has handled guns, raised children around guns, every time you direct it in the direction of harm, and that's towards someone or something that's potentially dangerous. On the defense side, they are going to bring in an expert to talk about how everyone in this particular case should have done their due diligence. She was focused, other people were not, and to kind of pull in that she is not the only one who is guilty of this particular incident. While she can take some you know, she might have missed some steps, but there were other checks in line, is what I'm saying.
Right, Sonny. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I've got a clip from an interview that was done with Hannah Gutierrez where she's asked about how that firearm was loaded.
So I loaded it with 5 of the dummy rounds before lunch, and there was one that wouldn't go in. And so when we got back from lunch, I took the little cleaner guy, I cleaned it out really quick, and I put another dummy in there.
And so when you checked it, it was on set or prior to transfer?
Yeah, it was on set. I didn't really check it too much after lunch, you know, because it was already locked up and everything at lunch. But yeah, I checked it and put in that last round. And I went inside to hand him the gun.
Oh,
he was standing in pretty much.
Okay, so you didn't just hand it and then he walked off? And
No, yeah.
So
I handed it to Dave with the camera people there.
Okay. So you were close to the door when you handed it?
I was inside for a second, and then I went back out because, yeah.
They tell you to get out.
Okay, so that's interesting because she's saying there she handed it to Dave Halls, who is the assistant director on this film. And I remember reading, this is way back when, if my memory serves me correctly, in that affidavit that it said that law enforcement learned that Dave Halls retrieved it from a cart, that he was the one who picked it up on his own. So somebody's telling a lie somewhere. Either she did hand it to him or he retrieved it himself. But either way, it's against film set protocol. She's the armorer. She's the only one who's supposed to be handling those firearms. Dr. Jason, when she's talking about how she loaded 5 dummy rounds, but 1 didn't go in, how does that sound to you?
You know, it could be. Now, that's another key factor right there. Dummy rounds look exactly like regular bullets. So that's another thing. You should never, ever have live ammunition on a film set. But the other thing with the dummy rounds, it could be different calibers. It could have been like, hey, you know what? This is a quote unquote 44 caliber, and they had a 45 caliber bullet. So there's different areas where that one bullet may not fit. So prop guns are a little bit different than real guns, and at this time they're probably using obviously a real gun. So it all comes down to that dummy round. I'd really like to see what the difference between, like, lay out the bullets that they had the live ammunition and lay out the dummy rounds and see what the difference is in diameters.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dr. Jason. I think for those of us who have never seen a dummy round, I think many of us, if we've been around firearms or used them, we know what a live round looks like. But to your point, if they look exactly alike, how the heck, nobody has answered the question, how did they get on the set? We'll talk more about that. I'm being told we've got to hit a break, but I want to get your take on that. Sonny Slaughter, Dr. Jason Piccolo, I'm so glad you both are on the show. Stand by if you would kindly, please. We got to hit that break as we're at the bottom of the hour. Got to keep the lights on here at Court TV. When we come back, we'll turn to New Hampshire. Of course, we know that the verdict watch continues. We're at 3 hours, 15 minutes in the case over the death of beautiful Harmony Montgomery.